maybe.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah.
cool. I was especially interested in your formula, which you said is good for your gums.
Ah, yeah, good for my yeah. The Eucomia, yeah, that's good. Yeah, um,
Okay.
that'd be pretty handy. Another thing that you could use for gums would be other
I have
company.
receding gum lines.
Yeah, definitely using water pick would be brilliant. A water pick and flossing and brushing your teeth 2 to 3 times a day.
Uh-huh.
Have a water
Okay.
pick. Water picks are brilliant. I actually don't, and I really want to get one. But what I do is I do floss, and I do
Uh-huh.
use teeth 2 to 3 times a day. And I often oil pull, and I put like a powder from a different company. It's called BFC or Bones Flesh Cartilage. I put that in my mouth every night to help cavities that I got throughout the years since my toddler was born. I just really neglected my teeth. Unfortunately, I made that mistake. So yeah, I
Uh-huh.
sleep, go to bed like probably like 5 to 6 nights a week with like a powder for like bones, cartilage, flesh, and ligaments and joints and teeth in my mouth. And I also take
Oh.
bath and Shilajit and Eucomia every day internally. And another thing you could take internally would be a green powder or a green juice, as well as um, sea moss potentially. But you don't necessarily take all of them. You could just have like maybe two of them or something.
Uh-huh.
I can put the links to all of these as well, you know. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. I know all the best. Like I know nearly all. Like I know just fantastic products, fantastic prices, like and
Really?
fantastic shipping. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
What kind of green powder would you do you recommend?
Um, Let me see. It's been a while since I've been using green powder. I've just been having other things recently. But let me see.
Do you take spirulina?
Yeah, I take spirulina and chlorella sometimes. Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
have organic. My Super Greens formula has organic spirulina and organic chlorella, organic nettle juice powder, and a few herbs. So that's actually a really good one. I think
Uh-huh.
I'm out of that at the moment though. So another really good one is Vita Mineral Green. There's also Ormus Super Greens from Sun Warrior. There's also a really epic like multi one by Dragon Herbs.
Oh.
By Dragon Herbs,
Uh-huh.
which is an epic one. It's like yeah, there's quite a lot. Um, and there's another one by the Synergy Company, which is brilliant. It's called Pure Synergy. I can, if you want, like, it depends. Some of them are pretty costly, and then Paradise Herbs have a pretty good one as well, multi one, but they're quite costly. And on that website, you'd really want to, like, it's up to you, but what I typically do is I wait for 20 to 25% sale or more that they run. They've basically hiked up all their prices and given more discounts.
Uh,
I did
huh.
that on my website temporarily, and then I decided just to make it simpler and just make them all the original prices with less discounting. But I
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
discount them, but just not as much.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
Yeah. So what you thinking
You
of?
know,
Like, what
you
aims or goals? Is it for you, your wife? And are you thinking of doing a parasite cleanse, or are you just thinking about switching diet or cleaning your intestines out?
yeah, we're just kind of like I mean, we still eat a lot of cooked food. And we
Yeah.
still eat usually like 3, 4 times a week rice, and a little bit
Yeah.
of bread and all that. But
Yeah.
I did have, like pretty good results when I ate like probably like 75% raw this
Yeah.
summer. Now I'm kind of falling out of it, so I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah. I
And
know. It's
I
easy to
have
have.
heard I have heard the medical medium he was saying, like spirulina and I don't know, maybe all I remember is spirulina, but he has like a whole protocol also to like help improve your memory. I'm a little
I
bit nervous. I see my father is also losing his memory now, but he's in his 80s.
yeah.
So,
Do you
and he
know what?
also kind of abused his body. So,
Yeah. There's definitely herbs that you could take for your brain and memory. Absolutely. They're pretty good
uh-huh.
actually. Yeah. Yeah. Gotu
Okay.
Cola, Lion's Mane, Brahmi, or Bacopa, it's also called. Brahmi and Bacopa, I think are the same thing.
Oh
And then
yeah.
like Gotu Cola and Lion's Mane, like definitely really helps. Coconut oil is supposed to be really also good for like raw organic coconut oil for like for Alzheimer's prevention or like for your brain too. I definitely would recommend that if you have issues.
Like
Detoxing
for
really helps too.
massage or just like taking a little, like a teaspoon of coconut
No,
oil internally.
internally, yeah.
Oh,
Another
really? I've never tried it.
yeah. Another thing that could help your brain would be just bending over, like or yoga, or basically where you increase blood flow to your face and eyes and nose and head, etc., to your brain. That helps
Uh-huh.
because we're just always one direction. It's like a little bit harder.
Uh-huh.
Like you know, yourself, if you bend over and like if you put a bit of pressure, like by going, or you
Sure.
just bend over, you will notice like the rush of blood to your head and face, and it can feel pretty refreshing.
Huh.
Um, yeah, there's also systemic enzymes which are really good for the overall functioning of the body. So here's a person just coming on. I think this is probably Barry. Yeah,
Oh, good.
systemic enzymes are really good. I can send you a link for that. Actually, I can send you a link for all of these in the same place if you want. Yeah, I use
Could
systemic
you also,
enzymes sometimes.
yeah, please. And you said you have a friend who is like clairvoyant who told you you are taking too much green drinks or too much
Um,
green. Is
yeah,
that true?
too much spirulina and chlorella and maybe even nettle powder. And I definitely wasn't feeling my best for a good few days, like half a week. And I just, yeah, I stopped them and I felt just normal and fine again immediately. So yeah, I'm just
Is
trying to
this
like,
person? Is it? Sorry. Oh, did
let
you
me
need
feel.
to check in real fast?
Yeah, just the guys just trying to get the video working. Yeah, no, it's definitely really interesting. Let me just make sure this guy. So yeah, another participant, Barry, really nice guy, a Facebook friend, is trying coming on today. He's trying
Okay.
out a little. So yeah, tell us there. What were you saying? Just
Oh, uh, is this person? She's able to evaluate the state of your health, like just through like talking to you,
she's
or is this?
able to do some pretty cool things, and she's able to tell me she uses kinesiology as well as maybe speaking to her delight guidance, I think she calls it. I might just call it her higher self, or she might call it her higher self too, potentially, or else her spirit guides potentially. So
Uh-huh.
whatever, like, just works with energy healing and some psychic things, and she's able to tell me like how much, you know, how much trauma I and others have, and if she tunes into that person in their beginning years of life or past, and how much trauma they've healed or how much trauma they
Uh-huh.
have left, like the
I
percentage.
remember you saying that. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like you sort of like put a gauge or like how much you hit. Where were you like 6 years ago, 1 year ago, last month, and today, or like 10, 15 years ago. So you can get like a really interesting like little survey of like how your progress has been going in terms of how you've expanded to a certain degree, or especially like let go of the trauma and the heaviness and density of past trauma from childhood. And it's also interesting to know like what you started with as a soul choosing to come into this family where you knew the big traumas and wounds you get in the first formative like 7 to 10 years of life. So that was really interesting.
So does a person have to be like face to face with her?
No, she could definitely do it for you if you wanted. Like I could give you her details. You could always maybe possibly book a call with her. She's really cool. She's like a really close friend of mine and she's a really lovely
Uh-huh.
person. Yeah. Her name is Camilla and she does a lot of work on herself, definitely does, and she does a lot of helping work with other people.
Huh.
She's a lovely person. I really, yeah, she's gorgeous, lovely person, lovely friend. Best to be close friends with her.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Wow, cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is is this other person on? Did he want to ask any questions or?
Where is this guy? What's happening? He's trying to start his video. Let me see. Let me see. For some reason, I can't see his video option. Yeah. Hmm. That's different that you can't see the video. But yeah, that my friend Camilla, she also does like energy healing, like from a distance too. So you could help her to get work on some of your things.
Uh,
Okay, so my friend says I can hear you. I'm trying to get the camera working on Mac. Okay, Barry, I hope you can get on soon, my friend. So yeah, I like these little random conversations. It's really cool. Like sometimes I like non-structure, just following your like passion and excitement and eagerness like a child. They're not structured. They're just like just like here, there, and everywhere. But it's such an organic flow to just follow your highest excitement, and that is a very strong spiritual teaching too. To follow your highest
uh-huh.
excitement with integrity, where you're not hurting and harming others, but you're following what's getting you going. And like you have these good questions up your sleeve and your mind that you want to like talk about. And I love that. It's good.
Thank you. Hey, I was curious. Did you what was your experience when you went to Italy? You said you went to like a breatharian
Yeah,
conference?
but pranic like a week's retreat, like a pranic retreat, is a 9 day
Uh-huh.
process where I just have liquids, and it can be anything. Like it could be cooked or raw. The whole like meaning of liquid breatharian or liquidarian, generally speaking, generally denotes you're living typically on little to no food, like little to no solid food,
Uh-huh.
or like just only on liquids. And you could have a lot of liquids, you could have a small amount of liquids, you can have a medium amount of liquids, and there's different densities. For example, you could have, for example, potato and carrot soup with onions that cooked at home and you blend it into a blended soup. Or you could have, because that's pretty thick and dense, right? Because that could be from somebody just switch. You can literally switch from a standard American or European diet onto a like pranix type of liquidarian lifestyle. And you could literally be having your coffee still, your ice cream. Basically, it's almost like imagine if you had no teeth. It's stuff that you can still like consume. So there isn't really any solids per se. Like ice cream would be the most solid, but it's sort of like just frozen liquid. And then like teas, coffee, any beverage of your choice. There's literally almost no limits of what type of liquid or a sauce. Like some people make like let's say like tomato sauce and add in hot water, like cup of soups,
Uh-huh.
rice milk, almond milk, oat milk, soya milk, any of those milks, either homemade or store bought in a carton. Yeah, I was getting a really bad sleep every night, sleeping in a tent without enough covers or a ground mat. So unfortunately, I had a big counteracting of less energy because of the poor sleeps compared to how much energy I was saving on digestion. So the basis is save energy on digestion, and you have more vital force because you're not spending it unnecessarily on needless heavier things to digest. But like
Uh-huh.
what I found is like eating a melon or half a melon is definitely lighter, for example, than having some blended like lentil soup or like it's just a system to contain yourself from going crazy outside of the system. That's how I sort of view it, to be honest, personally. That's why
Uh-huh.
raw food is a system to contain yourself from going wild and crazy outside of raw food into cooked foods. Because sometimes you just if there's no limitation or like you're trying to contain yourself in this type of system, you just lose yourself and there's no structure and you just go wild and it can happen for like literally years and years and years and years. Okay, Barry's asked me, but it's asking me. Barry, would you like me to send you the ID again on Messenger or anywhere? Are you able to how can you join again using your phone? What can I do to help? So yeah, like I know people who have literally switched from eating McDonald's and Coca-Cola to literally a liquid giving up solid food, and they've done it for years. So there's a thing called transition, where it's basically transition really sort of means you're basically going from more unhealthy to healthier, or you're going for even better, maybe you could call it also is less burdensome or less dense, like from dense and burdensome to more light, to lighter and less dense. So from density to lower density, from heaviness to lighter, from drier to wetter. So liquidarian has the wet factor in and the easier, relatively easy to digest, that ticks those boxes. But raw food ticks, I feel like higher, probably higher like quality or caliber of food you're taking, because you can't live on liquids without having any raw food. You can just literally live. It's not what you're getting in all of the structures. It's not really what you're getting as much as is what you're not taking. You're leaving out like the dry food, burgers, processed food, pasta, cakes, desserts. You're leaving out all sorts of stuff when you're eating a liquidarian diet or a raw food diet. But you can
Uh-huh.
have raw foods like kale chips or raw vegan desserts that are dry and denser and require more digestive energy and more time to digest. So they
Yeah.
all have the pros and cons. There's also a system called the mucusless diet healing system, which is very, 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 very popular and it's brilliant. That's not so much the consistency, but it's what you're taking. Whereas liquidarian is not what you're taking, it's the consistency of what you're taking.
Wait. Say again?
Liquidarian, you can have a whole load of stuff, so it's not about focusing on what you're not able to take or what you can take.
Ah,
It's the consistency you can't take. You can't have solids. So it's all
right.
wet and like a puree or a sauce or a soup or a liquid or a plain out drink or a juice or a smoothie. So
Yeah.
so liquidarian slash the road that many people call breatharian or pranic living, that usually definitely entails typically dry fasting, but not always. Not
Uh-huh.
always. But that's more like focusing on consistency. If it's liquid and monoformy. Whereas raw food focuses on what you're having, not so much the what the consistency is. So like you can have all sorts of stuff in a raw food diet, but it does emit cooked food, which can be a hazard. Solid food can be a hazard. And the mucus diet healing system doesn't focus on uh, the consistency, because you can have various things. It focuses on very heavily, like raw food, and what you're having.
Ah,
So
right. Got it.
like the most flexible would be raw food is the least flexible, I feel, in some regards. At least with like for example with liquid air, you can have like coffee, ice cream, you can have vegan, non-vegan, you can have like onion soup, chicken broth, bone broth. Usually most people on the vegetarian and vegan path, really, in all fairness, in all of
Yeah.
these systems. But there is an
Yeah.
allowable transitional phase where you just let go of some of the more denser or heavier or less healthy foods. But the
Yeah.
mucus diet, I think this was really fascinating because it focuses on like carbohydrates. Hey Barry, have you been able to get in by the way? Are you there? Let's see. Let me just have a quick like see if this guy Barry. Hey Barry, it sounds like your video should be available. It seems like all the people's videos are on. Where's Barry? Yeah, it says stop video, so I don't know. I can't see Barry here anywhere. Where's Barry gone? Barry, you say something and maybe you might appear. Are you there? No? Wow, this is really fascinating. I did speak before with more like three people. Uh, this Barry's having technical difficulties. Yeah. What happens if I click spotlight for everybody?
Oh,
There
you
we go.
should.
I clicked spotlight for everybody, Barry, and now you're the spotlight. Well, I want to see everybody. Wow, this is really fascinating. Can you speak, Barry? Speak. Can you hear me? Oh, you sound quiet. Let me get Blake back. Here we go, Blake. So yeah, is this a curious topic? Like the mucus diegetic is really interesting. I have to say, I do like, and it speaks so much sense. It encourages regular water fasting, like periodically in your life, like periodically, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Very start off small, even a half a day. It
Hmm.
encourages days or half days or a few days of juicing. It encourages regular enemas, such for example, once a day or like few times per week, which is all about clearing. And it's not about the consistency. Like you're allowed to have solids, you're allowed to have liquids, but it's more so about like if you have the density. Are you having like sludgy, like sticky food, like let's say pasta, wheat, bread, potatoes that are more sticky and dense and slower to go through?
Uh-huh.
Cookies or cookies like basically starches. It's the what it is you're having is a starch, is a oil, because oil is slow and pretty dense to go through too. It leaves a residue and a coating on your intestines. So therefore you're
Hmm.
not it slows down detox a lot. Whereas things what they call starchless or mucus, non-mucus causing, they're stuff like fruits, green leafy vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, uh, celeriac, like spinach,
Yeah.
kale, like collard greens, dandelion greens, nettle soup. Basically, things that are like light, and
Right.
they're very like it could be. What they would consider to be lighter would be a day of, for example, let's say having some broccoli with no oil, cooked with just water, and but also having just fruits, but not fatty fruits that are like stickier and leave a residue and a coating on your intestines. So it wouldn't be any durian or olives or um, avocado, but you'd be
Hmm.
having, let's say, melon, bananas, like whatever you want, like apples, oranges, jackfruit, clementine. So these basically fruits with some starchless vegetables that don't have any starch in them, which is a plant carbohydrate. Because when we
Uh-huh.
eat carbohydrates, they're creamy. They're almost like gluey, like paste, like where pasta comes from or where pastries come from in French or pasta for the Italians. It's basically like flour and water, like wheat flour and or rice flour and water. It makes a sticky paste. Hey, is that you, Barry? Or that's Blake? Hey, Blake. So let me.
Yeah, I'm here.
So yeah, it's like super fascinating. Can I just see if Barry's able to? Barry, where are you? What's happening to you?
Man, he just can't get his volume on, huh?
Wow.
He's talking, but
Yeah, yeah. We love you, Barry. We're sorry you can't hear us properly. I mean, we can't hear you properly. So what is going on here? This Mr. Urban is here's another way. Yeah, there's a certain thing on your screen. Oh, now you can't. Now I muted myself. So that's good. We can all see each other now at least. Barry, do you know sign language? I think Barry is a mixture of how me and you look like. He's just a bearded, like he's a mixture of me and you. Beard and short
yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
All a mixture of each other. One third. We all like, literally do look pretty similar on this screen, I feel. We look kind of funny, three brothers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well. What on earth is one of those things in life where you have to troubleshoot. I'm used to troubleshooting. Yeah, yeah. So
I think there's like a little button for the audio where it says mute, like on the bottom left-hand screen.
yeah, yeah. I know. Barry, can you on the bottom left screen? Can you press like on the bottom left? That's on my Android
Hello?
phone, and there should
Can
be
you
a
hear me
button.
now?
Got it.
Yeah, I think I heard you there.
Ah, okay.
Cool.
I see
Yay!
what the problem was.
What was the problem?
I've got a strange setup because because I don't have a webcam. I'm using my iPhone with the Mac. So I'm looking at you on Zoom on the Mac, but my phone is the camera. That's why it's a little shaky because I'm trying to hold it.
Wow.
So if I
Uh,
turn it around, you can kind of see. yourself on the screen there.
Yeah. Um,
I'll
well,
have
it
to
looks like
get myself a stand so I can sit the phone steady next time.
yeah. I'm glad you made it, and thanks
And
for
I,
your help.
yeah,
So, what
thank
did
you for
you
that.
click
Yeah,
did you click the unmute button? Probably, yeah.
I had to select my microphone was set to the sound card on the Mac rather than the microphone on the iPhone. So thank you for that because you'd said to click on the mute button.
Yeah.
It
It's
gave
it's
me a
all
few options.
yeah. It's always hard when we don't know, but once we know, it seems easy. It's kind of like
Ah,
sometimes the most easiest thing, and we just don't know it, you know. And we're all like that with everything, really, aren't we?
that's it. And you have that moment. You're like, oh, was it really that simple? I'm going to see if I can put this somewhere steady, and then
Uh,
hopefully,
lovely to be together. Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
lovely. Yeah, awesome. Fair play. Yeah, that's definitely really good. Yeah, I like that. So, were you able to hear us, Barry, like chatting
I,
about three different systems? These are the three systems that I mostly know about, and I think they're all brilliant in their own regard. I think there's literally souls come here, and there's something in all one place called Earth for every soul of every like level of maturity. Like there's always something below you or above you, so you can evolve and grow into the next phase. Just like a toddler growing into post toddler, they came from pre toddler. Like you and me, we all came from where we were last year or 10 years ago or 2 weeks ago. And there's shops, food, drinks, people for where we were to where we are to where we're going. It's pretty amazing. And there's
this
people like
sounds
vastly different consciousness doing vastly different things. But they seem to be allowed here from what I gather and understand. Everything is allowed and it's just all in one place. And it seems pretty mad and dramatic. And what I used to do, I'd never do anymore sometimes, like some things anyway. And then, but there's nothing like worse. There's nothing bad about being in a lesser or different stage of consciousness. Maybe not lesser. I don't think that's even the proper word, but like younger. Um, and I also feel like so there's no mistakes, and we're all allowed to be. We're all allowed to grow, and it's just I also feel, and I've heard many times, souls like deliberately come down together in big groups. But sometimes I might be kill some person, they might kill me in another lifetime. But it's all about lessons and experience, and it's just like a flicker. But
I have
anyway, everybody.
this sounds a bit like talking about like a multiverse where simultaneously there's so many actions all happening at once.
Well, yeah, that's what I've heard, like
Mm,
unlimited possibilities. But
that's what it sounds like. What you're explaining to me sounds similar to that. We
yeah,
all make so many different decisions.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, just life is just so funny. Like I think a lot of people like really contend with the difficulties of being on planet Earth, like people being so different and doing such like dramatically different things that seem like destructive on, you know, like like people who are like the old world order. I just
Mhm.
always call them the old world order. I'm not sure it's supposed to be called the new world order. Definitely the old, because I hear there's multiple timelines and we don't have to pay excessive attention or give our power away to certain people.
I get called a tinfoil hat, like guy if I talk about stuff like that when I'm at work. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You just be discerning who and what to say when
you
and when.
conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. So yeah. So what should we talk about then? Will I wrap up about the mucus diet healing system by Arnold Ehret, who's like brilliant, or liquidarianism / raw foodism, or and transition, or we talk about something different? How are you feeling there, Blake, with that last topic?
Yeah, I guess I was also wondering, are you like the people that are doing this breatharian, are they also kind of did you meet actual people that were really kind of like HRM who was living on sunshine?
No, no. See, there's different classifications like level one, two, three. For example, like level three, we like people who are making like I think diet change, a little bit of fasting or juicing, cleaning their body
Mhm.
out, maybe taking herbs, doing enemas, doing colonics, just trying to like clean up their diet and lifestyle.
Yeah.
Level two, I think you see there's many different subcategories. Like you could have a bunch of subcategories of each level. Level one is just people who only have air only, they don't drink or eat anything. And I know there's definitely multiple people like this, like a lot. They're the rarest, but a lot of them just it's like their soul's calling. They've literally just had an epiphany, or they just completely lost interest in food, didn't want to eat or drink anymore, and they did. And they've been doing it for decades. And they're
Yeah.
fine. There's men and women. Some like one man was like studied and tested. He gets water into his bladder from breathing because there's literally like H2O and different like hydrogen and constructive molecules in the air, and our body can like make and do things, like constructing our own nutrients or just recycling nutrients and this and the other. Then there's people who have only water. And there's actually a definition for level two is you have less than something like 19 calories a day. So some of these people might have like let's say a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a cup of matcha or herbal tea with a mild sweetener in it. But literally they're having almost nothing every day. And or
Wow.
you could measure it per week. And then there's people who have a smaller amount of calories. You can measure with calories. It's calories for me signifies like density, like oil, cooked starches, or fatty stuff like nuts, seeds, or even bananas and dates. The more dense you go, like a thick smoothie or a thick soup, that's dense. It's heavy to weigh, and it has a higher calorie load. Whereas
Yeah.
lighter stuff, diluted juices, or even they're lighter than just home pressed juice, but that's much lighter than a smoothie. You could just the less calories you have, like so the people who I was with, the man and the woman, they've been doing it for around 12 years and 7 years respectively, and just basically having liquids like 99% of the time, with the occasional
Hmm.
exception, which is fine. And they have approximately, I think, 600 calories per day. So most of us would probably have quite a lot more than that. But they have
Huh.
good energy. And one day he said he just decided to go running, and he ran for 25 kilometers, and he felt like a lot of energy. So like the less we consume, the body will use the energy saved on digestion by ingesting less to clean and heal and strengthen the body. And the same when we fast, the body will naturally mop up and get rid of like dirt, like damaged or diseased or dead cells, and then we're
Yeah.
left over like more perfect functioning cells. So we do become stronger and more adapted the less we eat. But like that's why transition is so important. Like we absolutely can't just click our fingers and go from one to the other, because people will and have even died
Right.
from doing extended fasts or breaking a water fast wrongly with potatoes or meat, even potatoes, or else even simply, you know, um, yeah, try to be breatharian or like when like giving up nearly all food and liquids for too long. A man, the heaviest man was 1,000 kilograms or more. Like we can adapt to living off junk food and toxins and poisons off our upbringing. There's no reason to say why we can't adapt to living on less food that's healthy, or even just like
Right.
less
Right.
food. Like
Yeah.
it's the way around. If we're to say anything, we should say how on earth can we survive our childhood where we were living off all sorts of like fake food and processed chemicals and this, that, and acidic drinks like Coca-Cola that erodes teeth overnight and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, the breatharians say basically we used to be breatharians a long time ago. We fell from grace. We went to liquidarians. We ate fruit or raw food. Then we discovered cooking. Then we adulterated our what we were eating, which had already brought us down by cooking it. And then we even cooked like animals, which is like the worst, heaviest toxic byproducts from cooking or eating. And then there's like chemicals, which is like completely non-compatible with the organic human body. So some people say that we're like chemivore. Instead of like carnivore or omnivore, it's like a chemivore, like the chemical type of diet. That would be probably like the typical diet a lot of people eat these days, or even more chemicals. But yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
all about transition, gradually making our progress. And there's loads of avenues because like some people like the beach, some people like the forest, some people like tennis, some people like athletics. So that's why I feel genuinely that there's something for everybody. We pick what our favorite is, and I feel like I think I like seasons and nature and organic. Like I just feel I like the organic natural world. So I think I'm a little bit more naturally. I do a mixture of arid, liquidarian, and raw food recently, but
Hmm.
I'm find cooked foods don't really agree with me. I think I've already transitioned from heavier, denser or cooked foods. So I think like fruits and raw foods suit me very well. And yeah, overall, I think they kind of suit me the best. Whereas somebody coming from McDonald's, like it would suit them so good to be having like some cooked blended soups. It'd be way better than like cooked animals as well. Like if they're having stuff the way I was up until the age of 24. Like that's a monumental leap of improvement. But for me, going from, for example, to heavier like blended soups and like lentils and this, that, and the other, or just eating a little bit. My body wasn't really accustomed and adjusted to that. So like I feel like I'm just going back to raw foods again because I didn't really have much raw food at all. Like most of the liquids in that retreat were actually like store bought or like pasteurized. But it was
Yeah.
interesting. I felt pretty good. Like I felt all right, except for getting really bad sleeps in tent. So it was really unfortunate that I couldn't have a really amazing comparison. I could always just do it again and compare myself over here, which I probably will do just for comparison's sake. By having like pasteurized like fruit juice and like oat milk and like cup of soups. That was pretty much the main three things people be having over there, or optional hot chocolate drinks as well. But that's with oat milk. Or you could just stick to raw foods, or you could go to fruitarian. Fruitarian is another like a higher, like a lighter level of raw foodism, where it's simpler and it's wetter
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's less
That's not for
dense.
me.
So it meets those criteria: less dense, wetter, simpler,
Yeah.
more liquidy. Like it's a bit like a solid liquidarian, almost having juicy fruits, but not avocados and durian. That's not liquid. They're really dense and heavy and slow in the system. So I hope that made sense. The, Yeah, our system allows like chickpeas, like a certain degree of lentils and legumes, but not too much. It just you go with the level where you're coming from. You're making the next step forward. So that's what all the systems are really like. You're just making the next step forward, what you're psychologically, emotionally, and mentally ready for. Almost nobody switches dramatically to a super way lighter diet. Even people switching to liquidarian, they will go on a denser liquidarian diet coming from a standard diet. No, almost nobody switches. I've never heard of anyone switching from omnivore to pure fruitarian, but I have heard of people switching from cooked veganism to fruitarian, like Ann Osborne and maybe Eli Martyr, but or maybe even Orville Douglas. No, Orville Douglas ate raw vegan mixture for 2 years. But yeah, the rare person might switch, but even them, it takes them if then like it took Ann Osborne 2 years to switch from cooked veganism to all fruits, but she was just gradually diminishing cooked vegan food and having only fruits eventually. And she had like amazing fruitarian pregnancy, and she's been eating just fruits, with the exception of birthday cakes for her children or something like that, basically for 36 years. So she's pretty much all fruitarian and had an all fruitarian pregnancy, much healthier than cooked vegan pregnancy, much more successful pregnancy. So yeah, a lot of information, a lot. It's good. Just been investigating for a long time. So I find it all very fascinating to like get pictures of pieces of the puzzle. And it's nice to have all the options. Like I don't think one is right or wrong over the other. I think what liquidarian has in its advantages over raw food, and even I feel like the mucus diet sealing system has an advantages over raw food, is that raw food usually doesn't like highly encourage um what's like frequent or sporadic water fasts, even if it's just for half a day to a day or two, or
Uh-huh.
juice feasts. But I know
Yeah.
people do raw food do eventually get into juice feasting a little bit, but from the mucus dye healing system and even liquidarianism, they tend to typically have this as part of their protocol and package to do some like abstinence from food and do a bit of water fasting or dry fasting either even. But the mucus dye healing system really recommends enemas, which I think is also really good. Our colonics, because we've like our digestive system is, I swear to God, it's so funny what we've done to our intestines since we were born is just like mad. Like we really that's why we have like bacterial overgrowth, candida, parasites, worms, etc., or
Mm-hmm.
viruses. We have these like
Mm-hmm.
pockets more lining our mucoid plaque. So we've done severe like mad barbarism to our intestinal tract, which is gigantic. It's like around 8 times the length of our height. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So I think enemas and colonics are a really good idea. I know they're unnatural, but even the Essene Gospel of Peace with like Jesus, that he if apparently he wrote the Essene Gospel of Peace, he was in a scene, he eventually switched to raw food and fasting. Um yeah, he was espousing like raw foods and also
In
like
India, they also did it.
what?
In India, it's also like it's called a yoga kriya, like a cleansing process.
Wait, the
But
enemas.
do it in a river with a
Yeah,
bamboo rod.
that was in the Essene Gospel of Peace with Reeves. That's what apparently the book that Jesus may have written or co-written or whatever else. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've done loads and loads and loads of enemas, and I've always felt good. And all my friends who've ever done them always say they feel good. And I don't think they're habit forming or addictive, and I don't think they ruin your ability to go have your own like bowel movements. You should just do them after having a bowel movement. That's the best way, instead of always doing it instead of a bowel movement. Simple as that.
Would you suggest
Yeah, that's the
coffee?
only way I've ever done it
The one thing I've
after.
never done, Barry, is I've never done a coffee enema because I just feel people actually have become addicted to coffee enemas, and
Oh,
I'm
really?
not addicted to coffee or
They say
caffeine.
that's very bad.
What?
I've heard that's very unhealthy.
You
I'm
have to
against
use
it too.
you want
That
to use
makes
good
sense, yeah.
organic coffee. Yeah, you don't want to overuse it because it does stimulate you. The caffeine is going to go into your system. I think water is very handy. The mucus dye healing system, people use lemon juice, but that's a lot of squeezing, and then it sometimes gets stuck a little bit of nozzle of the enema. I've tried apple cider vinegar, but I find if you people even use pee, like urine enemas, and I've done that too, and apple cider vinegar and lemon. But what happens is then the hose gets moldy little by little. Like even if you rinse it, then you have to throw it away or give it a really hard wash and buy a new one. So I think water is like just the simplest bet to have it like elastically clean, easy bag, So yeah, I think there really truly is something for everybody there, isn't there? All those options. So herbs are an
Owen,
option.
Owen, forgive me. Can I ask, do you do the neti pot? And do you
Yeah,
wash your eyes in the morning?
I'd like to. I'd like to do more. I keep forgetting. I have a neti pot. I've done it. I've done it with water, salted water. I've done it with like pee, because peace never irritates. But cold water or water without salt is like really like
Yeah, I
kind
know.
of.
I heard.
So I use a little bit of salt or else pee.
I've done the old doing the like wee where I've used it. Where I came up with a rash once, and I found that using my own urine was the only way to sort of like get that rash to go away.
That's
Pee
true.
is
It's just
incredible topically.
you
It's
know,
unbelievable. I've
I
heard it
think
helps grow your hair back too, especially aged pee. You massage your pee on your head
that's
or
it. Yeah.
wherever you want. Aged pee is more powerful. It permeates. It gets like absorbed into your skin really good. Um, yeah, I always feel really like I don't really do it that much anymore. Maybe just the living conditions, but rubbing pee on your skin is amazing. I think it just infuses or floods your bloodstream with certain hormones or nutrients as well. Like a lot of nutrients in pee.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
reckon it's meant to be aged
and
as well,
growth
don't
hormone
they?
and stem cells. It's just wild what happens if you rub pee on your skin. Like if I remember, I'll tell you a story, and I don't want to talk too much, but I remember before when if I was really tired in the daytime, I'd slip off. I'd slip off years and years and years. Like this is like good few, like 6 years ago, and I'd go to the toilet, but I'd rub pee like on my tummy or on my legs, and I'd maybe do two or three little rounds, and it only takes a minute because it dries off like super rapidly and no one would notice, but I just feel really like a burst of enlivenment or energy, whatever was going through my bloodstream.
And the thing when it completely dries, there's no smell. That's the thing. It doesn't smell at all. Mm.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like it depends how smelly your pee is to start with, but like the more you
Yeah.
eat like raw food, it's yeah, cooked food definitely smells much more. Um, omnivore pee smells way more than vegan pee and poop. It's just the way it is with the chemistry of the universe. Yeah, it can smell very, 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 very little to nothing though. Yeah, especially having like fruits and juicy raw foods or even raw foods in general. Raw
Mm.
foods, people hardly smell at all. Smell at all.
When
Yeah.
you drink it, you can tell if you're more or less acidic too.
Yeah, you can tell everything when you drink your pee. It's a really good indicator of if what you're eating is like really like preferred by the human body. Because the least preferred it is, then the more is going to go out into your pee and smelly or like taste weird or
So are
taste.
you meant to drink it when it's like aged? Because some people reckon when it's aged, it's more beneficial, or like the first pee of the morning. But I couldn't stomach that. I found that
Yeah,
like it was just like, oh no, it was too much.
Yeah, it definitely depends on how hydrated you are and how much quantity of pee is going into the glass bottle. Like if it's only this much, you're probably dehydrated. It should be really orangey. That probably be really orangey and smelly. Whereas you have this much water, it's been way your body's being hydrated, and it'd be much more palatable, like for sure. Whereas if you had like let's say an Indian curry the night before, or like chips, or like lasagna,
Oh,
or
oh, no.
vegan, cooked vegan, or even like omnivore, or like meat or fish. Like the more you go towards like animals or animal products, I mean,
Mm.
much more stenchier and like disgusting taste. Even cooked vegan food strongly and very strongly influences the smell and taste of your pee. I've done this like thousands of times. I've smelled or drank or pee. I've drank in the bottle. I've peed in a bottle like probably like 5 to 10,000 times now, because I don't like, I'm a really light sleeper, so I never like to like get up to the toilet in the middle of the nighttime. I always have a pee bottle beside my bed. Um and I also was practicing drinking it like for quite a few years. Um so yeah, what you drank the day before, the night before, will really influence your morning pee. And yeah, they say like let pee for a second or two. Like the first bit of your stream and the last bit should have the most waste or like sediment.
Yeah.
But if you drink the midstream, like it could be like 5 to 15 seconds midstream, depending on how much like liquid you're actually peeing out. But the HP is much more way more potent for healing topically, for injuries, wounds, sprains, scars, cuts, bruises, everything, and internally. Because aged piece could have like 100 million stem cells in it if you age it for like a month, and it'll have like tons of probiotics as well as stem cells and the original nutrients. Fresh pea is still very, very good, and it doesn't smell, and like
Mm.
you don't need to keep it with a cotton covering or whatnot. Some people just like don't even cover with cotton; they just like close it with a lid. But from what I know, it's good to have aerobic, like aerobic activity, so it's not completely sealed off to the air. But you don't want to risk spilling aged pig. It's pretty stench. I've never done that, but that wouldn't be too much fun.
No.
But yeah, HP isn't too bad. I mean, fresh pea in the morning isn't too bad for me typically. I don't usually drink it too much, but I do hear occasionally here and there. I don't like to force myself to drink pee that isn't light in its taste. No. And I remember one time somebody was doing a dry fast on the internet, a YouTuber, and he said something about breaking his dry fast with urine therapy, or like, urine therapy with pee. And I said, please definitely don't do that, because pee has loads of goodness in it, but it also has, like all the organs, all of our organs are massively multifunctional. And pee also has waste products in it too. And the cleaner our diet and the cleaner our body, the less there'll be much more higher ratio of good compared to like bad in pee. And there's medicine in pee. There's anti-cancerous like compounds in pee. Like pee is amazing. Like it's such a free medicine, like incredible medicine. It's really even good for ear infections. If you have an earache or an infection, put it in your ear. It's good for
Awesome.
switching if you have like for teeth issues or gum issues. It's just an amazing thing all around. But anyway, like I highly warn this guy, don't break a dry fast on pee, because during a dry fast you're gonna be really like gonna be kind of dehydrated. At least you're gonna have more concentrated urine at least. Maybe you won't be more dehydrated. It depends. Some studies say that like during a certain smaller dry fast, there's more cellular hydration because fat's broken down into water and energy. But anyway, we won't get into that too right now. But during a dry fast, your kidneys are going to filter loads. Your lymphatic system, which is like old stored waste in your lymph system, will be kicked out into your pee if you're dry fasting. Dry fasting is amazingly good for your lymph system. It really helps the like stuff to go into your pee that's been stuck in your lymph system or your kidneys. So, he said I found out later on that he drank his pee after dry fasting, and I knew it would have been loaded with toxins probably, and maybe acids too. He said he almost died. I never felt a stick in his life, but I did warn him, and I guess I believe his soul is okay for doing that. Like, I don't think accidents happen, but yeah, we do it like learn from experience. Crazy. don't drink your first pee after dry fasting.
I've never done a dry fast.
Like,
I've only ever done a water fast. So yeah,
you've only done a water fast, Barry?
yeah. I've never gone more than 44 hours.
Yeah, I've only gone around
Yeah.
43, 44 hours myself. And I entered ketosis. I was flat out in bed. I was absolutely wrecked because I have a super fast metabolism, and we will enter like all of our processes will be faster, including entering ketosis. So that was really fascinating. Yeah. Usually it takes 72 hours for an average person to enter ketosis where they've exhausted their like glucose in their muscles and liver, and they're feeling much more fatigued and tired. So, yeah. So yeah. Do your own experiments with drinking your pee. Like it's hugely lighter and nicer if you're having just like let's say you have a melon for breakfast and then you pee after that. Like it'll be much full of water and it'll almost like taste like water your pee will. Whereas if
That's true.
if have your pee after like let's say an hour or two after having a cooked meal, and you're really, really, really gonna notice a difference in smell and taste. Even if it's cooked broccoli. It's surprising. Or cooked chickpeas or cooked potatoes, cooked carrots or like some sort of thing, lasagna, whatever you have, even if it's vegan. But if you even try it if you don't have vegetarian or vegan, it'd be really gross. I've never actually even done that to be honest, because I don't think I've gone back that far to test my pee after having some of that stuff. Even though I have a tinchy winchy bit like a very long time ago. But yeah.
When when did you notice that your eyes got more bright?
Oh, it happens pretty fast when you eat raw foods, to be honest. Yeah, and detox. Just I think it's basically just detoxing, and eating vegan food because,
Because I noticed it this summer,
yay, did you?
and now I've kind of stepped back, and now my eyes are looking about the same. And I have these little things which they say is from too much sun exposure on your eyes. Some little thing is growing on my eye, and how it's growing in both.
Wow, I've never heard of that from too much sun, so I can't comment on that.
I think I
It's
had a holiday.
yeah, there's some like technical name for it, but they also call it a surfer's eye. It's wind and sun caused by wind and sun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I don't wear sunglasses though. I refuse. I've heard so many bad things about like sunglasses because it's just not natural and it can affect is it the melatonin and levels in the body and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few
Yeah, I don't
scary
wear
stories.
sunscreen or sunglasses almost ever in my entire life. Yeah. Well, you know what you could do, Blake? You could simply do pee washing, like pee here, left hand for left eye, right hand for
Uh-huh.
right eye. If you try swap, it'll spill, but the right hand on the right eye, just get a bit of your pee. It fits perfectly.
Uh-huh.
Just do that. You can just look up left or right sideways. And if you kept
Uh-huh.
doing that, I think it should really help whiten your eye and cleanse your
Yeah.
eye and
Oh.
improve the health of your eye, and it'll make your eye look better, but it can help. It might be able to help what you're talking about potentially, or slow it down for sure.
Oh, yeah,
Surprisingly,
I think I'll try it.
yeah.
Cool.
I must do that again more because I remember I used to have really wide eyes, like even wider, and it was definitely when I was doing regular like daily eye rinsing, super wide eyes,
Wow.
long time
Wow.
ago. Yes, forgot about that. Yeah,
Uh, when I think maybe I better get off.
I know.
I gotta
We've been talking
prepare.
for an hour and 6 minutes now. Yeah. Well, listen, it was a pleasure to see you today, Blake. It was a nice, uplifting chat and conversation.
Oh, thank you. Nice to meet you, Barry. You have
Very
a
nice.
nice
Nice to meet you
English
too.
accent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was like you guys. I could speak with this
I think every accent's
charming
amazing.
accent.
Yeah. I love
I
all
know.
accents. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, we're all good. We're
Okay,
all good.
cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Uh,
I'll see you.
Thanks,
All the
Blake.
best.
Thank you. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye. See you next time.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
So, Blake, yeah, I've been talking for an hour and 7 minutes. If you want, we could talk for another like five, maybe just like whatever, a few minutes more. If you want 7 minutes or something. I don't really know. something. Who knows?
Yeah, sure.
Might get carried away. But yeah. Is anything like on your heart or mind? I want to give you a little opportunity since you're like slow to start.
Yeah, I've kind of lost you at the moment. It's just showing a picture of me twice now.
There we go. See me?
No.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Let me. Da, 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 da. Do, 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 do,
I can hear
do.
it, I just can't see it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. All right. It's very unusual that, like, since I'm the host. That's so funny. Yeah, it says like raise hand. It's as if you're the host, but
Woo.
let me see. Yeah, I think I'm the host for sure. I have this like red cloud on my thing. Ah, well, I don't know. I can see me
That's
and I
fine.
can see you.
I can hear you, so that's great. Mhm.
Let me see. Let me see. How did we do this the last time? I did something the last time. Thought it all.
Unless it's, I don't know if it's me. Is it on my side? I wonder.
Probably your side. Probably, yeah.
Right. Show participants to the host. I am chatting.
Good to see you though. You're looking well, I have to say, yeah. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not just saying that, like you're obviously looking after yourself.
Well, to an extent, I definitely want to improve. Yeah.
Yeah, getcha.
Yeah. I think I mentioned to you, I just kind of just I want to, it's definitely better and get away from like eating addictive rubbish sometimes. And, I am still one of these that will eat a bit of chocolate. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm here to learn, but I still
Yeah,
do like crisps, like sandwiches, chocolate and stuff. I try to limit what I have, but then some days it can be a bit more addictive than others.
I know. I
I'm
hear
one of
you.
these. I definitely love my fruit, and I always take like a big box of fruit to work with me every day. I've always got like definitely. I always have watermelon. I have some grapes, blueberries, stuff like that. And then I get people. It makes me laugh every time they look at me and say, "Oh, I don't know how you can eat all that. You'll get diabetes." And oh,
Oh,
you probably may have heard these stories yourself.
yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, diabetes is a fat issue. It's really not a sugar issue at all.
Yeah,
It's a sugar and fat combination issue, but it's heavily focused on fat. People have gone all no fat, all fruits, and totally heal their type 2 diabetes, even their type 1 sometimes on the rare occasion, like rapidly.
hmm.
Yeah, it's just a big fib by like the companies that be that it's a sugar issue.
Yeah, like too many refined sugars as well, isn't it? Mm.
Well, yeah, refined sugars would be worse because it enters the bloodstream faster than fruits.
Mm.
But like if you're not having like fats, like there's a lot of fat in animal products. And also if you even cut down or don't have stuff like nuts, seeds, oils, and avocados. If you switch from a raw vegan diet, which had a reasonable amount of nuts, seeds, avocados, or oils,
Hmm.
and you just had fruits only, like melons, stone fruits, like peaches, nectarines, like citrus fruits, or bananas and dates. If you had all of them but nothing fatty, you're going to rapidly, like instantaneously notice huge differences in your insulin levels, and very super rapidly within a week or two, you won't need any medication whatsoever. Even if you're having all of these so-called sugary, it's all 100%
Are
pure
dates
natural.
okay though? Because dates are quite sticky, aren't they? Are dates okay to eat, or should you only have them in moderation?
It'd be better to hydrate them a little bit with water because they typically are dehydrated in storage or
Hmm.
maybe even just growing on the tree as well. But some of them are way more naturally moist. But don't eat dry fruits because that's unnaturally more
Yeah,
concentrated because of less concentration of water. So yeah, they'd enter your bloodstream faster, giving you a bit of a quicker spike.
And then the
But at the end of the
preservatives are
day,
questionable.
if you're having less fat though, like way less fat, like I already described, your blood will be really clean, so to speak, and faster flowing. And the doors to all your cells, called the insulin receptor sites, they won't be clogged with oily, greasy fat. So that's why it's a fat problem. You're just gonna have very fine fuel efficiency if you're having lower fat. So yeah.
Okay. Do you say there's any kind of fats that we should have? Is there any healthy fats we should have, or should we not, or in moderation? You know.
Yeah, well, the ones probably we shouldn't have would be cooked nuts or seeds or cooked oils, and we should. It's
Hmm.
optional to have cashews. They're blanched. All cashews are blanched because of the mold that grows on them, so they're basically never raw, and they'll never grow because they're not. They've been destroyed by blanching the vital the enzymes and the they're not really raw living foods. Cashews aren't. But a lot of raw food is just they kind of just like overlook this a bit, you know. It's not the end of the world. Some people even reculture it with like what's it called probiotics. So it may not be. It will still have a certain degree of electrical charge and higher nutritional quality and easier digestibility if you
Hmm.
culturize with probiotics to cashews. But some people just eat cashews. But cashews, yeah, you don't be eating cashews really typically, especially the ones you buy in the shop because they're not raw and they sometimes they have flavorings that are like chemical, like not good flavorings, like chili, don't store it.
Or
But
preservatives and stuff. Mm. Like you
yeah,
just
but
don't want to.
healthy fats would be stuff like typically avocado, that's
Coconut
ripe,
oil. Mm.
coconut oil if you want, pecan nuts and seeds like macadamia, pecan, walnut, almonds, and it's or seeds like sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, yeah, stuff like that, and soaking
Mm.
them is typically better because it helps them to germinate because they're
Yeah.
all like beginning of a new potential life. So soaking them and then draining the rinse water, the soak water will help flush away enzyme inhibitors which interfere with digestion and slow down digestion and spend more money or more energy in digestion. So yeah, emptying the soak water and it helps activate and break down nutrients in the nut or the seed. So soaking, but even if you just blend and make the monoform into a watery like part of your smoothie, I've noticed it's definitely far easier and faster to digest than trying to just snack on a big bunch
Yeah.
of nuts straight up, like because they're drier, they're unnaturally dried. Like if you pick an almond or a walnut from the tree, they'll be in a shell and they'll be much more moist, or especially walnuts are definitely very moist, whereas
Mm.
a dry walnut is like very drier and oilier. So we're kind of talking about nature or naturalness here to a certain degree, or freshness versus oldness to a certain degree.
Hmm.
But you just the basic one is just listen to your body. If you want to just figure out everything, just listen to your body, how you feel between a half an hour and an hour and a half after eating, because usually digestion kicks in strongly after approximately 45 minutes that I've noticed in what I eat. And if it's a heavy food, I'll start feeling tired or yawning after 45 minutes.
Mm.
Yawning, yawning, yawning. And that's not you're tired. It's you're tired from digestion burden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just they're like really fatigued, like you say. And you don't want to be there like that, like, oh, I've had too much. I've had too much. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of funny stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting stuff. It's that kind of yeah, yeah. Hope you had a nice day, Barry. If you have any other like little last like thing curious about, you're welcome. Otherwise, we can hop on the next call if you like as well, possibly. But
Yeah, I think like I said, I think I just got to learn how to control addiction, and not think, I want to eat something really bad, and sometimes I see that and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have that today, and I want to like come away from that slowly.
yeah, just what I'd say to that definitely because I'd love to address that before we
Mm.
finish up. Is definitely have more fruits available in your car or in your house or in your workplace. Have the
Yeah.
fruits there, and I'd focus more on the higher calorie, denser fruits like bananas, dates, or avocados, or even have nuts as well, like
I,
pecans. maybe walnuts, or maybe pine nuts, or
Mm.
even raw pistachio nuts are pretty tasty. I like raw pistachios are very nice. I actually have some right here.
I can't
Um,
see.
raw pine nuts are lovely too. They're both a little on the slightly more expensive nut side. Maybe raw macadamia. Pecans are flavorful too. Or if you have a nice walnut. So like, what's like a raw food dessert, instant dessert on the go is bananas, dates, and nuts. Bananas are like the cream filling, you know. They're like the
I
cream
always
filling.
I always
And
struggle with bananas because I sometimes I like I don't know like the best time to eat a banana because I kind of like it because if I do it and it's not ripe enough I don't like that strange flavor it's got where it doesn't feel right, but then sometimes I like it when it just starts to form the black dots, but then if you leave them like another day or two then they all go really mushy, so I'm not too sure, should you eat them just as they start to get dots on, or are you
there
meant to
should
eat
be
them before?
there should be a few day period, before they get like dotty to more more dotty to very dotty to smushy. Yeah.
Because I tried to get two bunches if I could like go shopping. I tried to get some that are green and then get some that are just light yellow. So hopefully by the time I've ate them, then the green ones have started to turn yellow halfway through the week.
Yeah. So like if you have more bananas, dates, and nuts, you're definitely
Yeah.
gonna have less cravings and desperate like cravings for cooked starches or like cakes, etc., or biscuits or cookies or bread or like potato soup or whatever else. Yeah.
That's good.
So definitely
That's
have
good
more
advice.
calories. Calories basically means more heaviness or density of food. Bananas, dates, and nuts are an ideal, like they taste like dessert. Like it's really, really satisfying and delicious.
Oh, dates,
And
they taste like sweets to me.
yeah, like you can
Yeah.
get these in an Asian shop, or you can also get other dates in an Indian slash like type of shop. Yeah, there's some pretty nice varieties. Like some are drier, some are wetter. These are a wetter variety. But even if you're having dry variety, it's better to have a dry variety of date with some nuts and banana, and maybe just drink a bit of water with the meal or before the meal, or maybe a little bit
Yeah.
after the meal, than having like let's say pizza or let cook lasagna. Or in terms of like digestive burden and feeling tired versus like energetic, or falling into the craving trap versus avoiding the craving trap. Because if you what's true for nearly everybody typically is if you have one cooked meal in the day, you kind of want more like later on in the day typically. Whereas if you avoid the first meal with like I'm describing, you're much more likely to either have a salad or more fruits or more bananas, dates, and nuts later. So yeah.
Definitely. That's good. That's good advice there. Yeah. I like the dates. I like the bananas. Should get more nuts. And yeah, I imagine all the three obviously taste like they all belong together as well.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not something it'd be very heavy, like and crazy for literally a breatharian who's like they're extremely few and far between. It would be too dense and dry for a liquidarian. It would even be too dense and dry for a fruitarian. But for a raw foodist, or it'd be yummy and perfectly fine. But for someone who eats an ordinary diet, it'd be lighter and feel better, a lot better. And it would wave you off falling then sort of the trap of just going cooked food, more, 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 salty, sweet, salty, sweet. Like the cooked food, like I want my savory meal, then I want my sweet dessert, then I want more savory later or more this type of sweet
That's it.
cooked desserty type of stuff. So like bananas, dates, and nuts are very like instant raw food dessert. Otherwise you can obviously make or buy raw food type of desserts, but they're really expensive and take a long time to prepare. So bananas, dates, and nuts are just really, 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 really handy. And they're really satisfying because they kind of meet our calorie requirement and
Mm,
our density requirement. Because if you're used to eating like density, you're not going to survive long on melons, which your body is just not used to the sudden lack of density that your mind and emotions are used to, and your body. Whereas if you give it something similar density, like bananas, dates, and nuts, you're gonna say, yeah, this is sort of what I'm used to and what I wanted. It's different, but it's kind of the same
yeah.
density, and it's actually really enjoyable and satisfying and tastes good, and it
And it
hits the
fills you
mark
up.
for
Yeah. Mm,
hits the mark for calories and sort of filling me up feeling, but it's not going to drain the heck out of me or like the worst it could do is a bit of dehydration pretty much mostly. But you could, like I said, have a bit of water before, during, or after, or especially before, or some juice or whatever else, or more, what, a melon maybe even a little bit. Just have some water before, during, or after.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
definitely like to drink a lot of water. Yeah.
All right, bearded brother. I hope that helped you. This has been the longest one I've ever done of these. An hour and 22 minutes now.
Yeah. I had a
Time
bit of
flew.
trouble shooting to begin with, though, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I could understand.
Uh, sure, it was an enjoyable one. Usually it's just an hour, but it was enjoyable, and yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Felt
Hmm.
fast today. All right,
Okay.
man.
No worries.
Lots of love. Yeah.
You
You
too,
enjoyed
Rob.
it? Yeah,
Okay.
happy to hear, brother. Sure. Maybe come along next time. We'll see how that feels and goes with you. And there's definitely lots of different topics and similar topics, and it's kind of the same type of topic. Obviously, we can obviously talk about more too.
Yeah. How often do you do one of these? Is it
Usually every week, typically on a
every week?
Monday, I shift days occasionally. Yeah, every once
Okay.
a week for an hour, basically speaking. It's usually two or three. One, usually maybe one or two others. That type of stuff.
Brilliant.
There might be a lady called Alexandra next week who's really, I spoke to her once before, so she wants to chime in as well.
Hmm. Okay, that'd be great. It would be nice to meet her.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like it's a nice little sense of like community or camaraderie, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I do like it. I'll make sure that everything's just hopefully going to just work right next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's nice to connect with like-minded spirits or beings because the big world out there sometimes we might be like not a lot of people like that necessarily, but yeah.
I love it. I love exploring. I think this is why I followed you for so many years. I just love what you do in that. And every time I see your adventures where you've been in that, it's just it gives me joy as well, seeing the joy that you have and like thinking, oh, that's brilliant. That looks lovely where he is. That looks nice. And you know, and it just that's also gives me like the encouragement to get out more as well. Like, oh, I'm going to go and walk somewhere this week, and oh, I'm going to go to this place. It's all good.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, no, yeah, we've been friends from Facebook for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to finally speak to you. It's good.
Yeah, man, I agree. You too. Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for popping along. I'll see you next time, Barry. And your
No,
beard is amazing. It's lovely.
no worries.
It's really
Thank
cool.
you. Cheers. Thanks.
All right.
And so yours. Goodbye.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.